Hi there, Kelsey Toner here from Be a Better Guide and the Online Tourism Academy. We're so excited to share a brand new interview series with you here today, Pivoting Online, Success Stories and Inspiration. We've had one of our Online Tourism Academy students, Miranda Peterson, who also runs her own successful hiking and yoga tour company down in Asheville, North Carolina, to kick things off by finding 7 innovative entrepreneurs who are finding tremendous success in serving their customers online. Through these interviews, we dive into the secret sauce behind the success that they're having, the practical advice that they would share for someone wanting to follow in their footsteps, and maybe some of the things that they would do differently. Stick around to the end to learn more about how we can help you create, launch, and sell your own online experiences, and we hope you enjoy.
Hello, I'm Gary Linton. I'm based in the northeast of England, and I started my business about 7 years ago. Initially, I was just running small group photography workshops locally, and then went further and further afield. The furthest I've been is maybe about 3 hours away from home, so nothing international yet. I was running photography workshops and tours and stargazing tours. March the 23rd, things began to change. And then one weekend when I had some 200 odd people for various tours of a waterfall nearby where we do stargazing events, I had to cancel the whole lot and then reschedule everything. And after the first lockdown, it became apparent I had to do something totally different, but something that would bring money in while I'm still at home. So what I did was create 2 virtual clubs, one for my photographers, one for my astronomers. And these were from the mailing lists of people who'd been on tours and events with me. So I started the 2 virtual clubs up, and they're still running. I then meet about 2 times a month with other little things thrown in. So the virtual photography club that we have, the virtual camera club, we also have a monthly challenge where they can submit entries, and I give them feedback on that. And sometimes we place them, and certificates are given out, and other things too. But always a couple of talks, and I've managed to get lots of interesting people in because there are lots of good speakers at home right now. Also, the virtual stargazing club, where I got a deal with a remote observatory that has 5 telescopes in Tenerife and 2 in Chile to use their facilities. So all of the members got free access to that.
Cool.
So they can take photographs from home. Of course, they can access the southern hemisphere in the morning and during the night from the UK or wherever they happen to be. And they can access northern hemisphere from Tenerife at night. So that's been good. And we've had good speakers for that too, including somebody from NASA, from the new moon landing team, the Artemis team. There are people out there who currently aren't doing a great deal and are open to giving talks over Zoom. We've had all kinds of great people.
Wow. So you're saying basically you pivot online. Is it kind of like a subscription model where they join this club and they pay, what do they pay monthly?
Yeah. I made it a fairly modest charge for the initial members. The camera club, I capped that at 35 members and got those 35 members in about a day and then stopped it. Actually, I started with 30, I think, capped it, got them in, admitted another 5 from a waiting list and then left it for a while. The Stargazing Club was capped around 20, and then I've occasionally run promotions to add people to that, but I'm about to start a really big one, especially given that I'm effectively having the business locked down again until the end of the year.
Okay, and so how was that revenue compared to your offline experiences of pre-COVID? How was your virtual revenue compared to that? Like this time last year?
But one of the great things about a subscription model is it's recurring income, it's recurring revenue. So once people join, as long as I can retain a good number of the members, and I've retained about 95% so far, that money's always going to come in. So as long as I'm offering something of value and they stick with it, I can count on that income coming into my business every month. And now that I'm going to build the 2 and take them even further, that's going to be a pretty sizable amount of money, which will begin to replace some of what I'm losing elsewhere. And for years, I've wanted to run online courses and other online products, maybe some kind of membership model, but I would never have had the time or the inclination had the lockdown not come about. And it spurred me on to do other things as well. Like I now have about 12 online courses. I'm managing everything through a portal called Kajabi, which is fabulous. It just works really well. I've just about hit the limit of the number of courses and memberships I'm allowed before I upgrade to the next level. It's going to be a big chunk, but the thing was, signing up for Kajabi in the first instance was a no-brainer because I was paying MailChimp $120 a month to manage my contacts and emails. Because they put their pricing, they changed the pricing model, they put the prices up. But to join Kajabi at the entry level was only $150. So for $30 more, not only did I get something that could handle all of my email and had no caps in it, whereas MailChimp did, I was able to run online courses to do advanced marketing, to use funnels, all kinds of things, all in one package. That's been a game changer having that software. As of today, I'm moving over to Peak Pro for my events and tours when I am able to sell them again, which has been set up to integrate with Kajabi so I can tag people and send the tags through Zapier into Kajabi. So the whole thing's going to be integrated.
Wow.
And I'm going to know what people have bought in the past, whether it's virtual or real world. So I don't try and sell them it again, or even worse, try and discount it when they've already bought it.
How hard do you think that transition was? Like, did you already have a pretty good idea of technology? Was it comfortable, or was it like a big learning curve for you?
Every time I start a new system, if anything, it's like, oh, not again.
Yeah.
It's something brand new to learn, and there's so much to learn about it. But you have to start somewhere. And I've always liked the idea of lean startup, which I know is something that Kelsey talks about in virtual tour business, where you just start with the minimum viable product and run with it. So starting with a system, the solution there is to just find out whatever I need to do to make it do the basics of what I need to do and run with it, and not get bogged down in thinking everything has to be right, and just add little bits and learn little bits as I go. But, I have a young family. I have effectively 2 businesses now. I don't have the time to spend ages learning something new. But you just do it a bit at a time.
No, personally, I love that feeling of when you learn something. Like, it's so hard in the moment when you're learning a new technology or pivoting or changing, but then after, kind of when you're on the other side, you're like, I figured it out, and like you're starting to get some results. Like, that feeling's just amazing, right?
And after 2 or 3 years of knowing about Zapier, I finally had a look at Zapier and set up a trial account, and I love it.
Oh.
There are so many things you can automate with that. And even if there aren't the existing integrations, you can create them. It'll simply parse your emails, search through your emails, and pull information out for you, and then do automated tasks based on that. So good.
And that's really the key, right? Is like automating as much as you can so that your time is spent doing what you're the best at, which is, teaching people about photography and astronomy and booking these speakers and coordinating these, working with the observatories like you were talking about. So your time can be spent doing that while, all of these automations happen in the background, and other people, I think it's amazing how much technology we have access to and how much easier it makes it to have a business online now, even compared to like 5 or 10 years ago.
And it's not just time saving, it means that I have data at the fingertips.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't before, nothing. I just had to guess. So I'm also on 7-figure tour business, which I found very useful in terms of systematizing my business and making it scalable. I also couldn't be happier about having the chance to learn the tech, to go online and to automate things. With the photography side of things, it was always an issue of how do I expand out of the region I live in. Now I'm going to start looking at premium online offerings and promote my online courses further afield. It means I build up a customer base, which is not geographically limited, but I can be strategic about where I go to get those people. And then when things get back to normal, whenever that may be, I have a customer base who will either come to me, hopefully, or I can go to them because they'll know who I am then. So it's going to help with that too.
So how big is your mailing list that you drew from to start your online programs?
My photographers, about 2,500. The stargazing people, about 500 to 1,000. It's not a very well curated list, that one. I send a lot of emails when I'm busy, and the people who are good customers don't mind it. So I think you can have a small list. You can also send a lot of emails. I would like to think I could get many more subscribers for both of the clubs and raise the subscription because it's worth it. And I'm looking at premium programs as well. I want to do something to support people with tour businesses who want to at least partially pivot into running stargazing tours, because there's room for everyone to do that. And it's not as hard as people might think. And it's because people were either bored and looking for something to do. People had money, people still have money. In the UK, until recently, and still some people, they're getting paid 80% of their salary to be at home.
Wow.
And so there's no travel expenses. They're bored. They want something to do. They've got money. So recession, depression, whatever, it's irrelevant. People have money, at least in the developed world. And people are buying stuff like that. But also I think people are looking for a way out. So people like us, whatever line of business they're in, if they've been affected by COVID, are now thinking, now what do I do?
Yeah, maybe.
For years I've wanted to start a business, and now it's the time to do that. How do I do it? What do I do?
Absolutely. So yeah, a couple of things with that. So it's good to have, and so you had some inspiration. You said, okay, here are some people who are really doing it well. I'm going to be inspired by them and try to learn from these big people. But also at the same time, there's also still room for more people and more to start when you haven't been online before. I think really the key is finding what you're already an expert in and how can you leverage that online and really find a niche instead of like all photography for everyone, narrowing it down to your very specific audience.
But yeah, it's niches are important. You can't be everything to everyone. If you're everything to everyone, then you're nothing to no one. You're not going to sell anything. But the online world is so big that you can come up with the most obscure product and people will buy it somewhere. For instance, a lot of the posts I follow in, say, Jeff Walker's network, there are people who are putting online courses together on how to screen. There seriously is an online course on how to screen that costs hundreds of dollars for heavy metal singers.
Oh, wow. Okay.
How many heavy metal singers are there in the world who want to learn how to scream effectively? Enough to make a really good business from. And, if what you're doing is less obscure than that, you're all right.
Yeah.
And if you're more obscure than that, there's still going to be somebody somewhere. But the more precise you niche what you're doing, the more the people who are your targets are going to think you're talking to them.
Yeah.
There are loads of people who aren't going to buy it, but the people who are going to buy it are going to go, wow, this is exactly what I've been looking for.
Online you can reach a global audience, which gives you more people to draw from than just your area in England. Yeah,
absolutely. And the same goes for getting people to collaborate with. So speakers, a lot of the speakers for the Camera Club and the Stargazing Club, I maybe kind of knew or heard of them, or I looked at their YouTube channel and really liked what they did. So I dropped them an email saying, if you're not doing anything, which nobody was, would you like to do a talk for us? So I've even had speakers from Australia where we had to time it so it was 10 o'clock in the morning UK time on the weekend to fit things in, but we can do anything we want when we're online. It's so flexible. And I had another income stream overnight.
Yeah, and so you started actively reaching out to other people to collaborate that were within your skill set, right? And so then does that also increases your reach, like tapping into these other groups that exist, other photography clubs. Oh, we'll have someone from their group speak. They'll promote it to their networks, and then that grows your network. That's brilliant.
When the photography clubs started again, quite a few of them realized they could go online and could use Zoom. So I was watching the speakers they would use. I have a few people I know on my list who were in these clubs. So they were feeding back to me that so-and-so was a very good speaker, contact them. So it was great. And lots of saving talks to YouTube, so I can look at YouTube and find people on there. But that's another thing. I now have about 6 months of past talks in Kajabi. So a new member goes in there and they have all of these talks they can watch.
Yeah.
And do things with that too. And it is a massive selling point for new members. I always try and find ways to do as little work as possible to get the results I want because there's simply not time.
Yeah.
So I don't do much social media, a little bit of Facebook, and that's about it. It's all email marketing after that. I think, the thing with email is they always say the money's in the list. It's absolutely true.
Uh-huh.
You don't own any contacts on Facebook or Instagram or any other social media platform, but you do own your email contacts.
And so is there anything else that sum up what you've learned or what you would recommend for other business owners, whether people are pivoting?
I run online courses. Over the years, I've done little bits of hybrid courses where I've used the Facebook group and created screenshot videos. A really great piece of software to invest in is Camtasia. Camtasia, all you have to do is get a microphone, a webcam, a PowerPoint presentation, and you can just record course videos. That's what most people use anyway. So I had all of these videos all over the place, and it took a few weeks to get them together and update them and reformat them. But I put those together into about 12 online courses and uploaded them to Kajabi and formatted them, and then sold them all on a special offer to my existing list and it was only about £1,500, but it was £1,500 I didn't have before that. It meant that was Kajabi paid for a good long time. And also those courses are now set up so I can sell them to anyone. And all I do is click on a button, put the details in, and they've got a course. But the clubs, the other good thing about the clubs, apart from them being recurring revenue, is I didn't have to do anything to start them up. Didn't have to make anything. It was just an idea. It was an idea in a single sales page with not very much on it, actually, in Kajabi, with an email saying, I'm opening this club. Go here, it will tell you more about it. And nothing, apart from in 3 weeks' time, we'll have a meeting, and here's the Facebook group. So you don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
It's not just magical that you can say, right, I've got this idea, people give you money, and it's on a promise that you'll deliver something down the line. You'll put it together a bit at a time. And great, what a business model.
Yeah, how long would you say it took you to use Camtasia to put together these courses? Like how many hours? And then it's done and it lives online.
Well, in terms of learning it, I imagine I don't know about 95% of its features, but I don't need to.
Yeah.
I know the big red button that you press and it records the screen. And then there's another button you press where it saves it as a file. What else do I need to know? There's other stuff in there. I can add quizzes, I can add animations, but I don't want to. I don't think that having an animated GIF in a presentation is going to sell me anything more, or people are going to be more satisfied because of that. They're after the content.
Yeah.
So how long did it take? It can be a time-consuming process. I tend not to rehearse them because I don't think there's any point. I'll put a PowerPoint together and I'll just do it. And if
there's little mistakes or little things, you just work through it. You don't spend a bunch of time editing it to be perfect.
In the background, I say the wrong thing, in which case I just go silent for a little bit, and I start again. The time comes in editing out the mistakes.
Yeah.
It's still quicker and more natural than rehearsing the thing again and again and again. I'll probably still get it wrong.
Yeah.
So I may as well get it kind of right and put it right in the edit.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, that's so good to know and so inspiring for me and for other people that are, I'm sure, trying to pivot and make the best of the situation. And, with so much unknown, I feel like there's still definitely, the best time was probably right when lockdown happened. But the second best time is right now, right?
Yeah. And if you're thinking, well, there's a huge learning curve, I've got so much to learn before I can even start with that. Forget that. You start as soon as you can. Because if you spend ages and the idea is not a good one, you've wasted ages.
Yeah.
If you've done the necessary things to make a start, then you can test it, and if it's good, you roll with it.
Yeah, basically it's just start and figure it out as you go.
When you've done it for a while, or you reach a critical point where you think, I need this to improve for whatever reason, even if just to get more people in, you send a survey out. Send a free survey on SurveyMonkey, asking people questions about what they like, what they don't like, what they could do better. And then you act on that.
Yeah.
Not just one person's responses, because that could send you in all kinds of weird directions. You look for patterns, and then you act on those patterns to improve it. So it's constant iteration and improvement is, I think, what I've learned from this year.
Yeah.
That you build a business by test and iterate.
Hey again, and thanks for listening to this interview. If it's inspired you to create and launch your own online tours or experiences, we want you to know that we're here to help. Virtual Tour Business is an online coaching program that covers everything you need to know about creating, launching, and selling an online experience or an online tour. It's there for innovative tour business owners looking to generate revenue, looking to leverage your existing skills to serve customers in brand new ways, and for those who are looking for purpose-driven work in these times of uncertainty. We're here to help you skip the tech headaches and overwhelm and give you the tools, tactics, and strategies that are actually working in this space. To learn more, you can visit onlinetourismacademy.com to get started today, or join us for one of our free workshops at beabetterguide.com, where we'll give you even more inspiration, tools, techniques, and practical advice on this topic. Thanks so much for tuning in. And if you did enjoy this series, feel free to share with a friend or colleague. We'll see you next time.